All right, so today we are going to take a look at the four ways of immunity. All right, active, passive, natural, and artificial. The combination of these four types of immunity. And first, let us, of course, understand what are these words. What do they mean? Huh? So the word active here means that your body is able to keep on producing, right, the antibodies. Yeah, because it has a recipe, it has the instructions, it knows how to produce the antibodies. So it is going to be a long-term immunity. That means even after, okay, a long time, your body will still keep producing the antibody. Passive means that very temporary, a very short term. It is only using the antibodies that it is given. Once it is finished, it is done. The immunity level will drop. From there, we have natural and artificial. Natural means that it comes from your human body. Either your body produce or somebody else's body produce and give it to you. Then if it's artificial, it means that it comes from the lab. That means we have artificially manufactured, we made the antibodies. All right, then we put it into your body through an injection. All right, so with that, you are going to have the four different combination: active, natural, active, artificial, passive, natural, passive, artificial. Okay, so let's take a look at the first one. So active, natural is referring to what? Actually referring to recovering from a disease. You will get this immunity when you recover from the disease. Okay, before we continue on, of course, want to remind you that antibodies are very specific, highly specific, okay, to the diseases. That means for one kind of antigen, you must have one kind of antibodies. I've discussed earlier, all right, this is the reason why a person who has gotten sick from COVID, they can get it multiple times, because the antigens, all right, the pathogens might have mutated, and the antibodies might not be suitable, okay, to combat that virus. So active, natural, okay, it is only talking about that disease that you have recovered from. So if you have recovered from this influenza X, that means you are only protected from influenza X. You are not protected from influenza Y, for example. There's a bit of K-BAT question there, huh? So you will get this, okay, once you recover from it, because your body already recognize, okay, the antigen. Yeah, because the first time that you get sick from the disease, your body already start to learn, oh, this is the disease that attacked me. They already know how it looks like. They already know how it behaves. They already know the weaknesses of this bacteria or this, pathogen. So that the next time when this virus comes and attack your body, it is able to produce, it is able to use the antibodies it has produced to protect you. Okay, so for a lot of the infectious disease, your body is able to make its own antibody. Now, taking a look at the graph, you can see that first exposure, that means the first time you get sick, maybe it's not a very strong response. Again, it depends. Sometimes the first exposure is already strong enough that you will not fall sick a second time. But most of the time, you will fall sick twice. The second time when you fall sick, your exposure is stronger, the response is stronger, and then you are going to go above the immunity line. Remember the red color line? It is the line of immunity. We must be above, because it is the minimum amount of antibodies we need to have to protect ourselves. Above the line, we are safe. Below the line, we are not protected. Okay, so that is the same way that you read for the four different kinds of graph. The graph is very important that you must recognize, because in the exam questions, either objective or structure questions, they will show you the graph and you need to explain the graph. Either that or you draw the graph. No matter what, you cannot run away from this graph. So please recognize the shape, recognize the details of this graph, labels and all that. All right, so this is for active, natural. Next one, active, artificial. So active, artificial, yeah, it refers to a vaccine injection. So let's break down the name. Why do we call it as active, artificial? Active because your body can keep on producing the antibody. When we provide the vaccine to your body receives the vaccine as a recipe, an instruction, right? Just like when you are learning how to cook. If we give you a recipe how to make pizza, for example, you'll be able to make the same pizza for the rest of your life. And only that pizza. You won't make you won't be able to make other pizzas. So this is again showing that the antibodies are highly specific. Okay, anyway, so active, your body is able to keep on making the antibodies, and the word artificial means that your body is going to get it from an injection. So yes, a vaccine injection. I think in today's day and age, we are not a stranger to vaccine injections anymore. Most of us have either 2 or 3 or even 4 doses, all right, of the COVID vaccine. So inside that small glass bottle, okay, what is inside is basically dead or weak antigens, okay, antigens which are inactivated, disabled, safe for your body. It is just something to help your body recognize what the virus looks like. It is an empty virus, basically. It has the look of the virus, but it does not have the virus inside. So it's helping your body to recognize, to produce the antibodies, so that in the next round, when the real virus comes, your body is able to fight against it, like a little preview for your body. All right. Now, this vaccination, although you may need 2 or 3 doses to achieve immunity, this immunity should last for a very long time. For example, all right, I talked about the mandatory vaccination program we have in Malaysia. Most of us who have received the vaccine for tuberculosis, measles, mumps, rubella, hepatitis, all of these things when we were young until now, we are protected, and for the rest of your life, you no longer need to take any more of these vaccines. So this is where the keyword of active comes in, a very long-term protection. All right, looking at the graph, you can see that it is quite similar to active natural. All right, but then this time, instead of getting exposed to the virus, you will name it as injection. First injection goes up a little bit, not enough. Your body still has not learned yet. Remember the story of how I teach you. I teach you a topic today, you might not understand it so well. The next week when you come back, I do a recap with you, you suddenly understand it better. And that is why we get booster doses. First injection, not so strong, go up, drop down. Second injection, much stronger response. All right, that is about 4 weeks of a gap they put here. So after 4 weeks, you go back for a booster, it suddenly goes above the level of immunity. When you are above the level of immunity, you are already protected from this virus. Your body is going to keep on producing it. Antibodies, of course, made out of protein. It can die, it can finish, but your body has the recipe. It will keep on making it. Okay, so active natural, active artificial, 2 out of 4 done. Now we go for passive natural. Okay, passive natural here, it refers to, of course, breaking down the words. Passive means that you have gotten these, these antibodies which are ready-made. The antibodies are already ready-made. Your body does not need to make its own antibody. Active is different. Active means that your body needs to make their own version of the antibody. Your body needs to make their own antibodies. But passive, no. Passive, we are giving you the ready-made antibodies. That means somebody already helped you to make it. In passive natural, because of natural, it must come from a human source. This time, not your own body, your mother's body. So passive natural means that your mother's body made the antibodies. The antibodies are ready made to give to you. Difference between active and passive. Active, we give you the recipe how to make the fried rice. Passive, you come to the restaurant, straight away eat the fried rice. That's the difference. Okay, go back to passive natural. So you get from your mother. You get from your mother, after you get from your mother, during the pregnancy, and also after you are born. 2 methods. During pregnancy, you get this antibody through the placenta. When you are in your mother's tummy, the placenta is a temporary organ which helps to transfer useful substances to your body. Nutrients, oxygen, and also antibodies. So your mother gives you a part of her antibodies, share the antibodies with you so that you are protected. After that, when you are born, because you are unable to eat any food, you must be breastfed. You must drink your mother's breast milk. And from there, in your mother's milk contains antibodies. This will be able to protect you, okay, for the days, for the weeks then you are born, because you are not suitable to take a vaccine yet. Your body is still very weak. You are still not able to eat a lot of food yet. So just nice, they give you the breast milk. The breast milk contains the antibodies readily available, ready to be used. Yeah, straight away you will use the virus, the antibodies, and that's how we stop you from getting sick the days, the weeks after you are born. Now, of course, after that, once the antibodies die or the antibodies finish, you must refill your body with antibodies, because this is passive. Once it's finished, it's finished. So you need to go and receive a vaccine. So that is when active artificial comes in. So in everybody's life, we will first get passive natural immunity from our mother, and after that, when you are ready to take a vaccine, you will change into active artificial immunity. So passive natural immunity happens only once. After that, you must rely on active artificial already. All right. So if we look at the graph, this time you see there are no 2 injections or 2 exposures, one time only. You receive it once, you can see that it immediately shoot up, almost quite instantly. Maybe take some time, but it's much faster than active, because your body don't need to make its own antibody. You see, it's already ready made. So shoot up above the immunity level, and then you can see it will drop down after some time. It will drop down after some time. Why? Because passive means that it's temporary. Passive means it's temporary. After a few days, after a few weeks, it will drop. And once it drop below the immunity level, you will be unprotected. From there, doctor will advise, it's time to get vaccine. Give you the vaccine. Okay, understand, huh? Boleh, huh? This is passive natural. Now, if you go to the next one, passive artificial, which is also the last one. This one, a lot of things to discuss, especially I think this subtopic, active artificial vaccine and passive artificial anti-serum. Lots of things to compare and contrast. A lot of questions can be asked, similarities and differences. You're going to pay real good attention to these two types of immunity. Okay, so passive artificial immunity, this time the antibodies are also readily made, but this time not from your mother, because it's artificial, it comes from the science lab. We actually make the antibodies in an injection, inject into your body. Okay, so the name we call anti-serum. Before we look at a graph, of course, similarities and differences between vaccine and anti-serum. Similarities: vaccine and anti-serum both are able to protect you from disease. A similarity: vaccine and anti-serum both are administered or given to you using injection. Similarities. Differences, a lot of differences. First difference: vaccine is produced using weak or dead antigens. Yeah, not the antibodies itself, the weak or dead antigens, whereas anti-serum is produced using the antibodies itself. Another difference: vaccine provides immunity for a very long term, for a very long time, while anti-serum provides you temporary immunity. Another difference: vaccine provides you with immunity slowly, takes time, takes booster dose for it to appear, whereas anti-serum gives you immunity quickly. Another difference: vaccine provides you immunity before you get sick, whereas anti-serum provides you with protection only after you get sick. Okay, some kind of a cure actually, to prevent you from getting infected or infected badly. So you can see many differences. I think definitely the biggest difference between the two is when you take it. Vaccine, okay, is given to you before you get sick. All right, just like how we say prevention is better than cure. Give it to you before you get sick. And anti-serum, on the other hand, of course, given to you after. Okay, you have, been bitten by an insect or by a dog or by a snake. Yeah, anti-serum. So if you take a look at the graph, okay, it's very different from the rest. The moment you get the anti-serum injection from the hospital, antibodies shoot up. Wow, straight line, oh, vertical line. Why? Because antibodies are immediately available. Immediately available, one straight line shoot up. And it will drop down after a while. Definitely will drop down. Why? Passive. Your body don't know how to make. Your body cannot make. Your body will not make. It will only use whatever is there. Okay. So drop. If it drop, what happens? Go back hospital, take second injection, boom again, and then drop down again. If not recovered, what happens? Take a third injection again, boom, go up and drop again until this thing is solved. You will keep on taking the anti-serum. Okay, so this is passive artificial. All right, so I guess that is all. A very quick rundown with you. Okay, we took about 2 weeks to explain all of this. Just very quick only. Want you to recap what we have discussed. I hope it's all clear with you. Okay, all right. So that's all for this subtopic.